What's going on? It's your boy Madara. 28 back again with the Man Cave uploads. Doing a review for One Piece chapter 1060, aka Luffy's Dream. This chapter was great. I didn't like it as much as I liked. 1058 is probably my favorite out of the last three. 59 was dope with Blackbeard and Boa, and this chapter is dope with what we saw with Sabo and everything that fell out from the Lucia Kingdom. But Oda's just in the bag right now. But yeah, this chapter starts off with Luffy saying that there's no way Sabo will do something like this. He wouldn't. It's not in his being, right? It's just something that he wouldn't do. And so we hear he's being framed for killing off Cobra, for killing off or for supposedly even kidnapping Vivi. Maybe all it says is that she went missing. That was my daughter closing the door. But yeah, it's just a lot of stuff happening, going on. Luffy and Zoro get into it in their fight. We see that wet hair Karibo is in the barrel that Zoro kicks over because he's getting mad at his captain because Luffy called him a coward, and Zoro was like, I'm telling you, we don't even know what's going on. You're over here jumping the gun. We don't even know if Vivi's still there. She might be gone. Plus, we're going into Marine HQ. Nah, we're a Yonko crew, but we're not ready for all that smoke. Now, yes, Sabo and a few good men did get out Kuma, but that was a rescue mission. That's not a search mission. We know Luffy can't stay silent for 2 seconds. They would all get washed, even as strong as Luffy is with his Gear 5th, but even with there, we don't even know if he can go in it whenever he wants. But I'm not going to sidebar. We just get to see a bunch of different reactions from all of the Straw Hats. I love how Oda put in there and his Nami pacing back and forth. I thought that was a nice touch in that panel. You have Sanji here crying about her. Even Chopper is King is dead, but he was nice to us. We're just a bunch of pirates. Zoro reminds Luffy that, hey, you're the same guy who told us that Ace has his own adventure, even in Through the Bark, because in Through the Bark, that's when he saw Ace's Vivi card was burning up. But he was like, oh no, I'm not worried about it. But he didn't do anything until Ace was about to be killed at Marineford. So Zoro was like, keep the same energy, the same, stuff you had during that time, keep it now, And so right over there, then we go back to Robin, and she's giving them more of a detail of what's going on around the world. She doesn't mention what happened with Blackbeard and Boa, but I'm pretty sure that that's what she meant when she said it was a bunch of other things that also happened at this time as well. We see that Luffy still doesn't believe Buggy the Clown is a rightful emperor above Mihawk and Crocodile, and obviously he isn't, because we do know that it was Buggy's men who gave him top billing, even though he himself didn't want it. And so yeah, it was just a great chapter. That's my family downstairs talking doggone loud. But anyway, backing up a little bit, Zoro does end up getting a few new nicknames. Obviously, we just came out of Wano, and so Luffy calls him a ogre. Nami calls him Green Kaido. Chopper calls him Green Mom, and Sanji with his crappy moss head line, and then Zoro tells him to shut up. 4th place, and then they get in a fight. A mini scuffle between the two, and I just love this crew interaction, because this is something that me and a few others on Discord have said in the past, that we want to see that crew interaction. The Straw Hats haven't been together as just them as a crew since the beginning of the post time skip. You're talking about Fishman Island and Punk Hazard was the last time it was just the Straw Hats together on the 1000 Sunny. I was about to say going Merry, but on the 1000 Sunny. And so yeah, it's just great to like see them, you know, on the boat again, you know, talking. Luffy does mention his dream. He talks about how like Sabo's dream was like to, you know, write a book and see the world. You know, it wasn't killing off, you know, world nobles or anything like that. And then Luffy mentions his dream, and you know, Zoro, Jinbei, Nami, and Usopp all have the same reaction. They're like, what? And they're like, you know, well, that kind of dream, they're shocked by it, right? This is the same reaction Odin gave when he heard Roger's dream. He was shocked. Whitebeard was laughing, and so you like see in the initial reaction, Brook, Sanji, and Frankie are laughing. Afterward, Jinbei laughs, but initially he's just as shocked as Zoro and Nami are. So it's just seeing that crew dynamic. Obviously, we don't know what Luffy's dream is. I personally believe it could be to go and see the moon. You know, something completely outlandish. Because in the TCB scans, Frankie says, "That's great. That's amazing." He's excited about Luffy's dream. We know that Frankie, obviously, he's a shipwright. He's a shipbuilder. So him being the first man to build a rocket ship would be dope. But I know the number one theory right now, and the most going theory, is that Luffy just wants to have a world party. He wants to party with everybody. He wants to have a worldwide banquet, which could be true. Others have said Luffy wants to destroy the Red Line. I don't think that's his dream. I think he will destroy the Red Line. I know Mr. Morge had a theory that they might use Pluton to destroy the first part of the Red Line, getting to Marijoa, but that Luffy would end up punching Imu down through the Red Line, destroying Fishman Island below it. Like he'll do a gigantic punch. We already know he can do it. We saw Bajiron gun, so I'm pretty sure Marijoa Castle is big, but I don't think it's like bigger than Onigashima. And Luffy with fist was literally bigger than Onigashima. So obviously, he would be able to do it. Again, I don't mean to sidebar too much, but it was just great seeing their reactions in this initial shot. Even Chopper himself is laughing and says, "That's great, Luffy. What a great dream." So he's excited. We know Chopper loves candy, so I'm not going to say it's something to involve sweets or anything like that. It's just great seeing everybody's different reactions on the crew. Nami was shocked in the beginning, but then she seems to be enamored with it, and she says it does sound like you, talking about Luffy. And so, you know, yeah. And then Frankie says, well, we like need to go ahead and find the last road, the last road poneglyph. And she says, well, that like one hasn't been seen for a very long time. You know, there are no clues on it, like whatsoever. We know that Jaggy, or aka Kid, and Killer have a lead on the man scarred by like flames. A lot of people believe it's Kuzan, but again, we don't know. Could be Scopper Gavan. Maybe he got a scar with flames over the years. It has been 25 years since, or no, 26 years since we've seen him. And so, yeah, obviously we don't know. So that's just the reality of it. The next part of the chapter was about Sabo and the Lucia Kingdom. The Lucia, the baseline of that word, or etymology of that word, is Lucia. Lucia means light. And so it's funny because Imu crosses it out. Maybe it's him, or it's the Gorosei who do it. They cross it out on the map, and whatever weapon they have could be Uranus or Uranus. I know people are like anal about. It's funny because it's ironic. People are anal about the way you say it because they don't want you to say Uranus. But yeah, you get what I'm talking about. Anyway, Imu has the weapon fire and completely wipe out, and it's because the dialogue during this is that the Marines are listening in on it, but then when it comes down to destroying it, they tell them, hey, disregard everything that was said. As far as you're concerned, Lucia never existed. That transmission never happened. You never heard Sabo talking. All of that completely didn't happen. You know, so others have said that Sabo did it on purpose. You know, he created a white transponder snail instead of the black one that like couldn't be tracked. We know Big Mom and Kaido talked on a white one when Luffy and them were going to Wano because she was chasing after them, and so maybe he did it on purpose. I personally don't believe he was on the island. Sorry for like scratching if that's picking up in the mic for whatever issue I'm itching. But anyway, because Sabo created a white transponder show instead of a black one, they were able to listen in. Now, from the shots of it, it looks like either Sabo, because he's kind of leaning over, so either he's running and talking, but there's no like huff. There's no panel showing him actually wasting energy. So he could be on a boat because he seems to be looking back and looking forward. Contrary-wise to everybody who's actually on the Lucia Kingdom, they're looking up, and whatever is above them, they're looking up right at it. So when it fires down, you don't get to see their like eyes or their faces because it's completely shaded, but you get to see Sabo seemingly looking back over his shoulder. So he's probably off the island in like a dinghy boat, like Luffy and Zoro started off in Romance Dawn. Or, as I said, since he's a Logia too, he should be able to fly, because we did see him propel himself when he was fighting against Fujitora on Dressrosa. I do stutter, so it is what it is. On Dressrosa, he did propel himself in that fight. So unless the weapon negates double fruit powers, he should be totally fine. But yeah, the Gorosei and Imu wipe it off the map. So this seemingly is the same thing that happened to God Valley while it was erased. That's why I believe Rox D. Zebek was erased like this. He was probably left on that island, abandoned by everybody, and Imu destroyed it with this weapon. And seemingly the weapon might take time to charge because the Lucia and them rebelled during the Fire Festival, which we know was like, what, maybe it's been 2 weeks since they beat Kaido, because it was 7 days before Luffy and Zoro woke up. Then they stayed there for like another 2 or 3 days, and then they finally left. So maybe like 10 or 11 days, if not. If this is all happening while they're actually fighting on Wano, then yeah, you're talking about maybe 3 weeks ago. So it seems like even though the 8 kingdoms rebelled, Lucia is the first one that got erased. So this weapon might take time to charge up, move around. It might have a long charging period. Whatever it is, it does remind me of that thing that sucked up Gang Beige, Capone and them during the like time skip, or I think it was right after we were leaving. We were either leaving Fishman Island to go to Punk Hazard. This one, Oda was kind of taking us around the world. And so whatever that gigantic rock thing was, because it looks like it has the holes to produce these beams of light. So maybe that is Uranos. Don't know, but yeah. Another interesting fact is that in this chapter, the girl holding onto her dad saying, "I'm scared, Daddy," that could be the same girl in the Ace. It's in a cover story of Ace going around trying to find Blackbeard. We know that he gets her back home to her home country. So this could be the same girl holding on to her dad. So unfortunately, she could have died right here while this happened, because we know the kingdom was blown up. They're seemingly directly under one of the engines of this thing firing, and it just is what it is. The daughter Komane is the same woman. It was Kobe helped save when he took out, it was a torpedo, and everybody makes fun of it now because he extreme diffed a torpedo. Going into the Reverie and those chapters leading up to it. So yeah, it's a great time to be a One Piece fan, man. By like the end of this chapter, we get to see them going into this It's a new island. It's and it's a climate. It's a very cold there, but it produces a warm eddy. Eddies are whirlpools, so basically it's an upside down whirlpool that is approaching their like ship. Zoro cuts it with Bird Dance, one of the moves he used against King the Wildfire in his fight, and he cuts off the top of it, and out comes Jewelry Bonnie. It was Luffy and Sanji who found out a person was in it. Obviously, Sanji has an affinity for hearing and recognizing women, and Luffy was just obviously he's advanced his observation in both Whole Cake and even in Wano, and so both of them hear it and see it first, but it is Zoro who actually cuts it with his cutting ability. And so yeah, that's pretty much it. Other than that, Joribani does have a bounty. She has the same bounty Zoro used to have, 320 million berries. And so that is cool to see that. Obviously, we're going to get stuff with her. She does know Kuma. She is from the same kingdom. She's known as Queen Dowager, which a dowager is a widow of a king or a man of status. And so it's just cool to see all of this unfold. But pretty much that's it from me. What do you guys think about this chapter? Obviously, in a few days, the spoilers will be coming out for 1061. So keep yourself safe if you like to be unspoiled. But if you don't mind spoilers, they are going to be out there pretty soon. Alright, this has been Madara 28. I'll see you guys soon.